Indonesia now has 22.4 million crypto investors, roughly 11% of the country's productive age population, according to OJK data. And that number keeps climbing, about 7 to 8% every single year. Yet most foreign investors still can't answer one simple question. Which exchanges should I actually use to buy and sell crypto in Indonesia, legally? Here's the truth, most content won't tell you. When Indonesia's government blocked access to unlicensed international exchanges, the world's biggest crypto platforms didn't walk away. They got compliant. They went local. Now, 3 global giants operate legally within Indonesia's ecosystem: Bybit Indonesia through a majority acquisition of NOBI, BTSE Indonesia through a joint venture with local exchange NVX, OSL Indonesia through the rebranding of Koinsayang. In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to show you why Indonesia has become one of the most attractive crypto markets on the planet, how Bybit Indonesia, BTSE, and OSL Indonesia each entered, and what makes each one powerful, what global scale, liquidity, and institutional infrastructure really mean for you, and finally, how Sungazer Live, a consulting practice established in 2022 for the new economy, helps foreign investors get in the right way. Yeah, let's dive in. Before we talk about platforms, we have to understand the market they're serving. As of May 2026, Indonesia has 22.4 million crypto investors, according to data from the Financial Services Authority, OJK. To put that in perspective, that's roughly 11% of the productive age population, which is estimated at around 190 million people based on BPS data. Adoption is growing, on average, 7 to 8% per year, which is exactly why global crypto players are paying closer attention than ever. Let me give you the full picture, because the scale is genuinely impressive. There's another number that matters even more. Back in December 2025, Indonesia already had more than 18 million active users in the crypto sector. That single stat is why the world's biggest platforms started treating Indonesia as a must-enter market. Engagement from both investors and institutions is rising, and Indonesia's position as a leading player in Southeast Asia keeps strengthening. The country has even been discussed as a potential next major crypto hub in Southeast Asia. In short, this is the most important crypto market in Southeast Asia, and it's still early. Here's the part that separates serious platforms from everyone else. When a government decides to block access to unlicensed international crypto exchanges, those exchanges are left with 2 options: exit the market or acquire a licensed local entity to keep operating legally. Indonesia chose the domain blocking approach, and the result pushed major exchanges toward compliance through acquisition or partnership. This is the defining feature of the Indonesian market. You cannot simply show up and build your own way in. You either comply with the licensing regime or you don't operate at scale. That's exactly why the 3 platforms in this video matter. Each of them didn't just transplant a foreign brand, they entered through licensed local entities, under the supervision of Indonesia's Financial Services Authority, OJK. For an investor, that's the difference between operating on shaky ground and operating inside the system. So which are the strongest global exchanges now legally operating in Indonesia? 3 names stand out: Bybit Indonesia, BTSE Indonesia, and OSL Indonesia. The industry itself has described the momentum plainly in a widely shared post on Indonesia's crypto sector. Recently, we've seen several global exchanges acquire, partner with, or invest in local Indonesian crypto exchanges. There's simply no reason to turn a blind eye to Indonesia anymore. Each of our 3 took a slightly different route to comply with Indonesian regulation. Bybit entered through NOBI, which is now rebranded as Bybit Indonesia. BTSE Global expanded into Indonesia through a joint venture with NVX, which has since been rebranded as BTSE Indonesia. OSL entered through Koinsayang, which has been rebranded as OSL Indonesia. In the next scenes, we'll break down each one, what they bring, why they're powerful, and who they're best suited for. Let's start with Bybit Indonesia, the compliance-first powerhouse. On July 16, 2026, Bybit officially launched Bybit Indonesia after acquiring a majority stake in NOBI, the former name of PT Encrypsi Technology Handel. The scale behind this platform is genuinely global. Bybit records a daily trading volume of $63 billion and has more than 75 million global users. Why does Bybit's global scale matter to you? Because liquidity depth comes from having millions of participants globally. Ben Zhou said, observing the growth of the crypto market in Indonesia, Bybit acknowledges the country's progressive stance and the increasing focus on sector development. Bybit Indonesia launched on July 16, 2026, under OJK supervision after acquiring a majority stake in NOBI. It currently offers more than 500 spot trading pairs, while derivatives remain subject to regulatory approval.
Next up is BTSE Indonesia, the enterprise-grade joint venture. BTSE took a path similar to Bybit's, but through a joint venture. It partnered with local exchange NVX, which has since been rebranded as BTSE Indonesia. BTSE Group's launch was announced as entering one of Asia's fastest-growing crypto markets. What sets BTSE Indonesia apart is its dual identity. It combines BTSE's global, enterprise-focused infrastructure with a locally based entity operating with OJK approval and providing access to IDR deposits, withdrawals, and trading. It operates within Indonesia as an approved crypto assets trading operator, known in Indonesian as a pedagang asset keuangan digital. To understand what BTSE Indonesia can do, you have to understand the parent. BTSE is a global blockchain technology company established in 2018, based in Victoria, Mahé Island, focused on three core businesses: exchange, payments, and infrastructure development. On the exchange side, BTSE supports more than 150 cryptocurrencies and over 50 perpetual futures contracts, with more than $30 billion in monthly trading volume. On the payment side, BTSE's platform can provide fiat and crypto pay-ins and outs, as well as OTC services for more than 50 major currencies. And on the infrastructure side, BTSE enables businesses to white-label its exchange infrastructure, wallets, payment gateways, and liquidity provision. That last piece is a genuine differentiator. BTSE doesn't just run an exchange for retail users. It powers other institutions' crypto operations. For an institutional investor or treasury team, the takeaway is simple. BTSE Indonesia is engineered for sophisticated, capital-managing users, not just casual buyers and sellers. Its heritage in payments and white-label infrastructure means there's substantial depth beneath the consumer interface.
The third platform in our trio is OSL Indonesia. OSL's entry route was through Koinsayang, which has since been rebranded as OSL Indonesia. The most recent documented milestone is that OSL Indonesia completed its transition into the ICX Group ecosystem in May 2026. Among the three platforms, OSL Indonesia's publicly documented footprint in today's source material is the most measured. Fewer granular data points are available compared with Bybit Indonesia and BTSE Indonesia. So, in the spirit of full transparency, we're only stating what we can source. What we can say with confidence from the industry record, OSL Indonesia is one of the localized global platforms operating inside Indonesia's licensed and supervised ecosystem, and it belongs on the shortlist of anyone evaluating regulated options. For a foreign investor building a serious, diversified Indonesia play, OSL Indonesia rounds out a powerful trio. Bybit Indonesia for global liquidity and 500-plus spot pairs, BTSE Indonesia for institutional-grade infrastructure and IDR rails, and OSL Indonesia as part of a wider institutional group structure. Whether retail or institutional, each of these three gives you a compliant OJK-supervised door into a market of 22.4 million investors. At this point, you might ask, Why should a foreign investor specifically care about these three global platforms? The answer comes down to four things global infrastructure delivers, regardless of which of the three you choose. 1. Liquidity depth. Bybit brings $63 billion of daily volume. BTSE brings more than $30 billion of monthly volume. Deep order books mean you can execute larger trades with less market impact and tighter pricing. 2. Institutional-grade features. BTSE's heritage includes futures, perpetual contracts, OTC for more than 50 currencies, and white-label infrastructure for enterprises. Bybit Indonesia is built on a global platform serving over 75 million users. 3. Cross-border capability. These platforms are global by nature. They integrate with international banking, blockchain networks, and trading communities in a way that suits investors moving capital across borders. 4. Regulatory clarity. All three entered through licensed local entities in a market that blocks unlicensed platforms at the domain level. That compliance-first posture reduces the legal and operational risk of doing business in Indonesia. The bottom line, for anyone serious about the Indonesian market, choosing a platform that's simultaneously global in capability and locally licensed is the smart, defensible move. We've covered the market, the regulation, and the three platforms. Now, the honest question. How do you actually execute, legally, correctly, efficiently? That's where Sungazer Live comes in. We are a consulting practice established in 2022, operating in the new economy, the intersection of digital assets, fintech, and cross-border investment. We are not an exchange, and we are not a wallet. We are a partner and guide for foreign investors entering Indonesia's regulated digital asset ecosystem. And because we know trust is earned, let me be transparent about who we are. Through a framework the industry calls EEAT, Experience, Pengalaman. Since 2022, Sungazer Live has worked with foreign investors, individuals, funds, treasuries, and companies, navigating Indonesia's digital asset market. We operate from Kuta, Bali, at the crossroads of Southeast Asia's most dynamic crypto economy. Day in and day out, we help clients understand which licensed platforms to use, how the regulatory environment works, and how to move forward without tripping over the traps. Expertise, Keahlian. The new economy is our field of focus. That means we stay current on the key facts this video is built on. The 22.4 million investor market, the OJK supervision framework, and the entry of global platforms like Bybit Indonesia, BTSE Indonesia, and OSL Indonesia. Our expertise is in translating that regulatory and market complexity into concrete action for foreign investors. Authority. Autoritas. We've earned our place as a knowledgeable voice by being specific and sourced. Everything in this video comes from verifiable industry documents, not hype. When we speak about Bybit's $63 billion daily volume, BTSE's $30 billion monthly volume, or Indonesia's 22.4 million investors, we attribute every number. That's what authority looks like: reliable, traceable, and reproducible. Trustworthiness, kepercayaan. Trust is the foundation of everything we do. We don't promise shortcuts. In a market where Indonesia blocks unlicensed exchanges, we guide clients toward the licensed, supervised platforms in this video: Bybit Indonesia, BTSE Indonesia, and OSL Indonesia. We operate with full transparency, disclose what we can source, and never steer clients into gray zones. Since 2022, that's how we've built our reputation. So here's what working with Sungazer Live looks like in practice. We help you map the licensed landscape, knowing exactly which of the platforms in this video suit your goals, your capital, and your risk profile. We help you choose, benchmarking Bybit Indonesia, BTSE Indonesia, and OSL Indonesia against your needs for liquidity, fiat rails, and institutional features. We help you structure lawful access, guiding you toward compliant, licensed entities and supervised structures. And we keep you current, monitoring the regulatory and market developments that affect your position in Indonesia. You don't have to navigate Indonesia's new economy alone. Indonesia's crypto market is 22.4 million investors, strong and growing 7 to 8% a year. The regulation is clear. The global platforms are in. The door is open for those who walk through it correctly. If you're ready to participate in Indonesia's digital asset market, legally, compliantly, and with the right platform, let's talk. Connect with Sungazer Live on Telegram at @Sungazer Live, or call us at +62 85 16 50 98877. We're based in Kuta, Bali, and we work with clients across Southeast Asia and beyond. We built our practice on 4 promises: experience, expertise, authority, trust. Let us put them to work for you. Sungazer Live, your trusted guide to Indonesia's new economy since 2022.